Good morning. Welcome to Navigate the Wild. My name is Josh. Today, we've got a big one. 4-month carnivore update. So I started the carnivore journey 6 months ago, actually at the advisement of my doctor. I had done it last year, started at 201 pounds, very unhealthy, fatty liver, really struggling. I'm only 5'4". I'm a pretty short guy, and I had a lot of success. Hunting season came and it just fell to the wayside. I stopped worrying about what I was eating. I started eating whatever I wanted to again and slowly crept back up on the standard American diet. So today, I have now been on this journey again for 4 solid months, actually just over 4 months. But last week, I had my 6 month physical follow up with my doctor after he had told me to get back on the carnivore diet, which, by the way, he is on the carnivore diet, looks phenomenal, feels phenomenal. And so I've been waiting to do this video because I wanted to have my full blood panel. When you tell somebody you're eating primarily bacon, eggs, beef, butter, it raises eyebrows. People get nervous. Some people get mad. Some people lash out. They can't even help themselves. Some people just make statements like, well, that's not healthy, and you're not healthy, and this isn't going to be good for you. And I've run the gamut on responses. But most of the time, people raise their eyebrow. They just go, here we go again. And if I'm honest with myself, I kind of did that too in the beginning. I heard about the diet through Dr. Sean Baker on the Rogan podcast, and then I heard Dr. Rhonda Kirkpatrick on the Rogan podcast be skeptical, but say that there was evidence to at least look into it. And then I saw Jordan Peterson have this crazy transformation. I started digging more and more, starting watching all these different people on carnivore get healthy. And I thought, this is going to be really difficult. I don't know that I could do this. Beef, butter, eggs, bacon. Still some pork products in there. Every once in a while I'll have some chicken. But I was really skeptical. Now I'm a hunter. And so I hunt game every year, from turkey to deer to pigs, mostly here in Florida. And so part of that is procuring meat for your family. We're meat eaters here, but I've never only done that. I've always ate vegetables and fruits, which, by the way, are not the enemy. I like that stuff. I love that stuff. But right now, I've learned up to this point, I cannot lose weight eating vegetables and fruit. There is too much carbohydrates and sugar in it, and I just hold on weight. My wife and I have done the vegetarian forks over knives. We've been down that road. I gained weight. I didn't mean to, and I thought mentally, hey, I'm healthier. I feel better. But I gained weight. So this morning, I wanted to share with you guys my blood panel, maybe just to kind of help educate a little more. If you're nervous about starting the diet, you'll kind of see what my 4-month progress is. And on top of that, just kind of share with you the journey that I'm on, because that's the whole point of this process. Is I was hoping to educate and encourage others, and the carnivore diet's kind of bled right into that vision for the YouTube channel. So this morning, I'm 165 pounds. 4 months ago, I was 191 pounds. My waistline is a 28. I started at a 36. We actually went out yesterday and I bought my first new belt in probably a decade because I didn't know if I was going to stick with this. I didn't know if it was possible. I absolutely love feeling this way. I absolutely love living my life this way. And so once I hit my weight goals, I think for sure I'll slowly reintroduce some vegetables and fruits. But as far as the processed foods, I'm never going back. I will remain a carnivore for the rest of my life. I might treat myself with some things that I miss, like honey and berries, mango, some things, some flavors that I miss. But I'm losing weight. I'm not at my goal weight. I want to be about 150 to 155 pounds at 5'4". I don't know what that's going to do to my waistline because honestly, I don't find many men's clothing smaller than a 28. I went the other day to look for jeans and I couldn't even find any 28s. My length is basically a 28-30 right now, and I've never lived in this world, so it's a bit challenging. I can tell you, though, I've lived with a 36 and a 38, and you don't find many jeans that are a 36 and a 38-30. It's usually 32. So across the spectrum, I've had some really weird uh, clothing options available to me just because I'm so small. The doctor was very pleased when I saw him last Tuesday. He asked me how I was feeling. I said I was feeling great. He asked me how I was sleeping. I never really sleep great, but I can tell you this, that when I wake up, I'm refreshed. I'm usually up before my alarm clock. I don't need naps. So everything is trending in the right direction for me. Before this, I needed naps, especially on the weekend. I would take 1 or 2 naps a day just for an hour to recharge, and I could tell the difference. We're getting ready for hunting season, so I spent the majority of yesterday afternoon out in the woods, prepping land, clearing trees, cutting bushes. Now, I've got a full panel here. I'm not going to read all of this stuff because I honestly don't even know all of what this stuff is. I will talk a little bit about some of the stuff that I've heard other people talk about, Dr. Ken Berry talk about, and I'm just going to rattle some of these things off. So let's see here. Lymphocytes and monocytes, which, by the way, I'm not a doctor, so I don't even know if I'm pronouncing this stuff right. Everything was in range. My lymphocytes, 31.1%, monocytes, 8.2. My red blood cell count, they say, is high. It's a 6.5, but that could very easily be because I'm on TRT. If you recall, way earlier in this journey, I shared with you guys my testosterone replacement therapy. I've been on testosterone replacement therapy for about a decade. In my 30s, I was having some major issues, and I went to an endocrinologist and found out that I had a tumor laying on my pituitary gland, and it was basically smashing my pituitary gland. It's a pretty invasive surgery. They go through the nose to remove it. It could be high risk. And so they don't remove the pituitary gland tumor unless it's growing or messing with your vision. And thankfully, mine is doing neither. Just to reiterate, I'm also a cancer survivor. So when I was 14 years old back in the 90s, I think it was 1994, I had stage 3 non Hodgkin's lymphoma at the age of 14. I had cancer, if I can recall, symptoms popping up when I was in about the 4th grade. We didn't realize that I had cancer till I was in the 6th grade. And then I went through that whole protocol. That's where a lot of my weight gain started, was after and during my cancer treatments. I was on large amounts of prednisone. They also attribute that to some of my weird dimensions, being as short as I am. Come to find out that the vast majority of the stuff that saved my life had adverse effects on my body, but it was all experimental at the time. We're talking the 90s. The internet wasn't a huge thing back in 1994, and they hadn't seen a lot of my cases. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma tends to leave a trace of where it's come from and where it's gone. I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in my left kneecap as well as my head, but there was no trace as to how it got there. It was just there. So I went through extensive, heavy duty doses of chemotherapy, large quantities of prednisone, and it wound up saving my life. And I'm thankful for that. I've got 3 kids, I've got a wife, we've got a life. I wouldn't be around if it wasn't for the doctors at Duke University Medical Center. So thank you for helping save my life. But I've got to take TRT for the rest of my life. That could easily be part of the red blood cell count, and that's why I donate blood about once a month. So I was fasting on this. My glucose was a 63. One thing that, this is just a side note that I thought was really interesting. I drink Element every day, all day. LMNT, when I was in high school, when I was at 20, in my 20s, even early 30s, I have always been into supplementation, stuff that you could find at GNC, Vitamin Shop now. And so the proteins and the creatines and the this and the that. I have never taken a more impactful, meaningful supplementation as Element. Maybe one day I'll be sponsored by them. Right now, I buy it straight from them. They did send me a cool water bottle the other day just to say thank you. But I start every day with chocolate Element in my coffee. It gets the day going for me. And remember what I told you guys is I work outside. I'm a blue collar worker. And so right now in Florida, it is hot. Yesterday it was 112 and it was 80% humidity. Very, very hot. So I'm constantly replenishing. But when I tell people, yeah, Element, it's only got 3 things in it: sodium, potassium, magnesium. And I say 1,000 milligrams of sodium. People look at me crazy because I take 3 to 5 elements a day in 16 to 20 ounces of water. They're like, that's way too much. But what you don't realize is you're not having a ton of sodium trapped in your food when you're eating the way we're eating. So you're not really getting it. You eat a box of Kraft macaroni and cheese, or you look at anything like that, any type of canned good, you start seeing these sodium levels. A large meal from Chick-fil-A or, Wendy's or whatever. The sodium level is out of this world. It is not uncommon to have a burger with more than 1,000 milligrams of sodium in it. We're not eating any of that stuff. And so it's not that big of a deal. Well, my blood panel said I was low sodium. My sodium was too low, which I thought was absolutely hilarious because I take Element every single day. So Element has 1,000 milligrams of sodium, it has 200 milligrams of potassium, and it has 60 milligrams of magnesium in it. And it's magnesium malate, which is great because that's the most bioavailable magnesium supplement you can have in your body. I'm assuming the other 2 are great as well. We use Redmond's Real Salt to flavor our food. That's it. Urea nitrogen, perfect, 14. Glucose, 63, which was low. Sodium level, 134, so 1 point under normal. Potassium, 4.8, right in range. Chloride, 98, right in range. Carbon dioxide, 25, right in range. Calcium, 9.1, right in range. Protein total, 6.8. Protein, 6.8, right in range. Even closer to the low side. They say reference point is 6.1 to 8.1. I'm a carnivore. That's all I eat is protein, and I'm right in range. Albumin, right in range, 4.3. Globulin, right in range, 2.5. Bilirubin total, right in range, 1.1. Alkaline phosphate, 40, right in range. AST is 30, ALT 36, EGFR 95. Okay, this is the next one that is really interesting. I have been told there is a war going on around cholesterol, the cholesterol war. People say, you eat carnivore, you eat eggs all day. I might eat 3 to 5 eggs a day, steaks most nights, burgers most nights, bacon most nights. And if you're part of the war, I apologize. I'm not part of the war. I'm just giving you my blood panel here. I have heard some great talks on the Rogan podcast, some of the leaders of cholesterol, what we're learning about cholesterol, a phenomenal cholesterol talk. The info is out there, and you're going to find information on both sides of the fence. I spoke to my doctor about cholesterol. I asked him his opinion. How do you feel about cholesterol? What are you seeing now that you're putting so many people on carnivore? What he told me was, as long as your triglycerides stay within range, I don't care what your cholesterol is, as long as the triglycerides stay low, which I'm assuming they will because you're eating this way. This is what he told me. I said, well, I can tell you this right now. I'm not getting on statins. I'm trying to get off of blood pressure medication. There's no way I'm getting off of blood pressure medication to add statins to my lifestyle. It's not happening. So I'm going to stay on the journey. And he was cool with that. He was respectful of that. But here we go. My triglycerides. This is 4 months carnivore, eating nothing but beef, butter, bacon, eggs. I'm a 69. They say the reference point starting is 150. Cholesterol total. My cholesterol total was 204. And they say it's high. The reference point they start at is 200. So I'm 4 points over. When I, 4 months ago, started this, my total cholesterol was 194 and I had fatty liver. Now I'm fine, and it's 4 points over what they would like. HDL 48, LDL 140. They say the reference range is 100 and that I'm high. And then it says here the LDLC is now calculated using the Martin Hopkins calculation, but I feel fantastic and I'm going to keep going. Non-HDL cholesterol 156. They say I'm a bit high. Their marker is 130. But the triglycerides were fine. My doc didn't even bat an eye about this. PSA total, 0.61. Thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH, third generation it says. My result, it was a 2.05 MLU, it looks like. Right in range. Vitamin D, oh, that's the other thing I take. I take vitamin D every morning. Perfect. Reference point is between 30 and 100. I was an 83. No deficiencies, which this is kind of interesting because I've lived in Florida since 1998. You would think the Sunshine State, I'd get plenty of vitamin D. I work outside. No, I have to take a supplement. The sun isn't giving me what I need. Okay, testosterone. So this was the one that my doctor was most curious about because what he has seen, the vast majority of the male clientele, this is cool, that come to him. We live in an older community. There are many men now. You can even buy it online. Everybody's getting testosterone replacement, TRT. He said that the vast majority of the guys that he puts on TRT and carnivore diet and they commit, that their testosterone doubles sometimes. And then he has to lower dosage or adjust dosage. I usually stay between 600 and 700. Sometimes right at like the tail end or the high end of 700. I was a 690. So their reference points is 250 low, 1100 high. I was a 690. The crappy thing is I got to take a shot every week, but it is what it is. Hemoglobin A1C, I've heard Dr. Ken Berry talk about this. Nisha, Dr. Ken, me and my wife are big fans. I don't know if you'll ever see this, but thanks for all your encouragement and examples and free information that you share. My hemoglobin A1C was 5 even, 5.0% total HGB. Their reference point is 5.7, so we're a 5. So that's it, guys. That is my 4 month. I expect it to improve. We're excited for the next year. So normally I would go back to see the doc twice a year, beginning of the year, middle of the year. I asked him when he wanted to see me. He said, Josh, as long as you commit to this lifestyle and you keep going, I'll see you in a year. I don't need to see you again right now. And so I just feel super blessed. I didn't realize how much my other health, spiritual, mental, emotional, centered around my stomach, centered around the food that we feed our bodies. And so it just seems like things are getting better and better and better in all areas of our life. And so I'm going to encourage you. I want to stay encouraged. I'm trying to encourage my family, make the commitment, make the minor sacrifices, join the carnivore army, because I'm telling you, it will absolutely change your life. Don't listen to people, follow your heart, follow how you feel. How do you feel? Get past the initial phase of burning off the bad stuff, because that does happen. The first couple weeks, I didn't feel the best. Mentally, I had to flip that switch. I'm 4 months in. I'm never going back. I will live like this for the rest of my life. So thanks for watching. Thanks to the motorcycle taking off. And guys, navigate the wild. I'll talk to you soon.